little older, a little wiser, but happy to see you.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave in close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end, no dark is right, because their words had fought no lightning bay. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
Okay, get ready to match our spin with the retro thrusters.
It's not possible.
No, it's necessary.
Cooper, this is no time for caution.
Let me leave now!
Hey, Jay Bonner, what's going on, my dude? Yeah, I think this area turned out pretty okay, you know. So there's a couple of things. How's it now? Is it any better? Let's see. Hopefully now you can hear me better too, and the music is not as loud as before. Great. So yeah, there were a couple of things that I wanted to. I'm not sure if you were in the last stream, but you know, I've made this. I was gonna say treadmill, conveyor belt. So so this is gonna be. I'm gonna be trying to use this as a kind of a diversion tactic. So this would be hooked up to like a fuse panel that you'd be able to turn this thing on. I mean, the belt is not going to spin. I mean, or does the belt spin? It's not going to roll, just because it's probably a little bit too complicated to actually make that happen. But it's actually going to start spinning the end here. So and you know, I'm going to be creating some particle effects to kind of show that it's, and give it a little bit of a shake, you know. So kind of like the thing is trying to start, but it just makes noise. So that will attract the guard, and at that point, you know, you can take him out. So that was one of the things that I've done. Let's see. So in here, what I was thinking of doing is actually make the walls a little bigger, because I think it's kind of like looking at just the size of the player. It seems like it, you know, maybe if I do it like a 1.5, and 1.5. Actually, that doesn't really matter so much. But I think that actually makes it work better. You know, having a little bit more space in there. So let's actually make these 1.5 as well. There we go. So I think that definitely gives a little bit more space. So you know, I think that's definitely better. Oh yeah, that's actually a really good scale up, I think. Let me jump into game mode real quick and see how that feels for the player. And so I need to move some of this rock stuff from here. But yeah. So other than that, the other thing that I want to add is kind of a little bit of a flooded area. So, but I think that feels a lot better. Like even if it wasn't like third person, I think that would look pretty good as far as scale and, you know, kind of the camera being able to. So Mega Scans is the ground and this rock wall. That's Mega Scans. This is this minecart is from a user called Renafox on Sketchfab, and the train tracks is a user on Sketchfab called Sergei Rudavin. So I know I'm kind of pronouncing it in like the Eastern European pronunciation, but it's like Sergei Rudavin. So that's where I got this one from, and he's got a lot of really good scans. And I think I had to do quite a bit of tweaking on it, especially on like, because you know there's no proper roughness, so to speak. You know, so like the shininess of the top of the track. What's a lonk? Oh, link. So his name is this. I think if you look him up, um, and it's actually with one I. It's not so Rudavin. So that's his username. Okay, so let's see if we can. But you know that now that I'm looking at this, so no, try it in Sketchfab. Just look him up on Sketchfab on the Sketchfab site. So I'm kind of starting to like this kind of setup, though. You know. And I think on Sketchfab, I'm wondering if he might have changed his username, but I would start with that. I think if you just look up train tracks in Sketchfab, you'll find this asset that I got. Yeah, so I mean, if you can find it, I can give you a hand after the stream, and we can definitely track him down. Yeah, I'll give you a hand. Cool. Yeah, because you know this one was really nice. I mean, like I said, I had to do some tweaks to it so I can like put it on a spline. You know, so it's not it's the scan is really nice. You know, there's a lot of detail in it, but you know, I still once I kind of scaled it down for like polygon count, you know, there's still some issues here and there. You know, like this kind of stretch here, which you know, it is what it is. The cart is definitely a little smaller, which you know I can probably like unbiggen it a little bit, kind of like probably around there. So okay, so a couple of the things that I wanted to add was a set of cables going across the ceiling here, and like a kind of a pipe system. So and actually, I think what I wanted to do before that is kind of lift these up a little bit and give them like a little bit more of an angle here. They seemed a little flat. Okay. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get something in here as far as the pipes. I do have maybe a couple of pipes that I can think of, but let me track down the cables first, because I think I made these cables some time ago, and I believe they were somewhere in my bunker. So let me let me show the bunker level. Okay, there we go. It's here. So where was that? At least I thought I did. Oh, there we go. So it's this thing here. So mesh bundles. Hey Mark, what's going on? What's going on? Well, Shikama, I mean, there's no, there's going to be like the premise of the game does have a little bit of a, I wouldn't call it, it's not creepy or sinister. It's, oh, Liverpool versus Manchester City, nice. So it's, like there's a nefarious purpose of, or, you know, there was something bad that happened here, but it's definitely not anything that is, I wouldn't say it's horror, but it's kind of real world type thing, you know. I'm sure it happens to this day. So um, it's yeah, it's definitely mystery, but the boxing, I did not. Last night was like, yesterday was a really fun day for me. Like I helped a friend dump some of his like shingles, take him over to the dump. So yeah, well, I know it's not just jump scares, but no, this one won't have a horror element. It's more of a it's more of a thriller kind of thing, you know. So if I was to put it into like a movie term, I would say more of a thriller. So I mean, there's the mystery behind the fact that you need to find out what happened. So not psychological. Nope, just a thriller. Like think of and now no movie comes to mind, but not a psychological thriller. I mean, it's nothing that puts you like um, you know, gets you thinking, you know, like, oh my god, this could have happened, or like this, you know, this stuff actually has happened before in the world. So um, and or at least the what the bad people were doing here in this location. So to that regards, yeah. Yes, Mark. Indeed, there's a couple of things, a couple of other things that I wanted to add to the tunnel before. So in that regard, you know, kind of getting the splines in place, so I can just extend them to the point where it connects to the cave. So that's what I'm going to try and do, is add those few elements and then create that excavation area where it's a little bit more open. So that there's going to be a little corner to that connects to the caves. So that is the plan. So the two things that I hadn't had added were you know, kind of like a cable kind of stuff, uh, and some piping kind of stuff, because I think they're nice fillers, and they used to be like water used to be used in mines for excavating. So you think, you know, like pipes would be like um, you know, intake and outtake, kind of like pumping the water out and pumping the water in for excavation and then pumping the excess out. So that would kind of work it out for the wires, at least for now. And you know, I'm gonna be adding some you know, some small stuff, like, you know, maybe a junction box to feed these ones over here, but you know, that would be separate. It's just a little bit tedious. So let me see about the pipes. Um, I know I have to like kind of decide on a pipe system that I'm going to be using, and actually one that I have been using, and I might just reuse it because it's pretty nice. I also have it in the bunker. So let's see. So it's this one here. So I think this is pretty kind of an old style pipe system, and I think it might work with the spline as well. So let's take a look and see how that would do. I'm definitely loving these splines. They're like so useful. Oh, and I forgot this one actually has some weird sizing applied to it. So there we go. And the thing with these pipes is that I can't really do, you know, some huge bends in them, because, you know, This piece, I'm not entirely sure I can like place it anywhere easy. So, anyways, I think that's gonna be kind of how this is gonna go around. I'm still trying to think what might go on this side of it because it's a little barren, but I'm sure I can find some kind of debris, some kind of pallets or something like that. So let's see. So that would be the structure of it overall. So at this point, what I'm going to try and figure out is, and let me see if I can turn down the fog. There's so much stuff to save when you're working with like a persistent level. So let's see. I'm gonna try and use this mesh for the like excavated area, maybe somewhere around here. Actually, it's gonna be kind of like quite to the beginning of our thing here. So let's see how we can box this in. So I kind of like how these join here at this kind of ridge or gap. So then when you come from here, you'll be going into this kind of open space. Oh, and one thing I didn't realize is that these are like, I think I bumped them up quite a bit in scale wise. Oh, actually not too much, so 1.5 should be good. So let's see, what would be a good kind of area to join this at? I think there might, actually no, let's put it right there. So that way I can kind of like, this one is kind of going in, so I can try and kind of blend this piece, just kind of join it here somewhere, like that. And actually I think I can make this a little bigger. Kind of right there. let's see about the ceiling of this, because this one's going to be interesting. And of course, we need a little bit of light. Hey, yeah, thank you so much, Mark. Have fun. Have fun with the match. I'll still be here for maybe at least another hour or so, probably about an hour. Thank you so much for checking in. Okay, so let's find kind of a flat section for this mesh. So that would be actually pretty good there. Let's see, I'm going to try and follow this, or at least spin this around like so. There, oh, there we go. I have this one here. Let's see, how can we get it in there? I think that might do it. Just flatten this terrain a little bit. Alright, let's check for size and see where we're at with that part. Because I don't want to make this too tall. So I think if he's about here, I think I can go with the floor to go about where his legs are. So I'm going to try and sculpt that out like that. Whoops. And it actually kind of joins in with where that one is pretty well. I mean, I could probably go a little higher with it. Maybe here. There we go. It's kind of the track. It's probably going to go to somewhere around here, and then maybe I'll have a couple of conveyor belts here. So that way, if there's going to be a couple of troops or a couple of guards around here, well, I think it might make sense to have one close to the conveyor belt and one towards like the entrance to the tunnel. So that way, you know, one of them would get distracted and kind of go investigate the conveyor belt, and that way you only left with one. So for the floor of this, this is where I'm kind of wondering if since it's going to be kind of a bigger opening. I'm just going to try and make it a little smaller. Oh, and that fits in so well there. Nice. Right, so the tunnel is there. I think that works pretty well. Cool. So now I just need to see about doing the kind of the transition between these parts. So maybe I'll leave this out here and see if I can use my go-to little rock to hopefully make that work. So actually, let's continue and finish off the ceiling of this. Okay, so then that fits in pretty well there. Hey, thank you, J-Bonnet. Yeah, I think the biggest thing with it is kind of this, getting this one in. This kind of and a tunnel entrance? Yeah, tunnel entrance. So just trying to make that work somehow. It's a little bit of it's a little trick here. Yeah, this particular rock is very I think it's very versatile. I mean, once you kind of spin it around a few times and just get it in the right position, I guess. I mean, it's fun to play around with it and try and figure some kind of location for it. think that might work like that. So let me flatten this out a little bit here. I just want to make that kind of a yeah. I'll definitely try. You know, like to take a look and see what might work, and you know where. Because it's always a matter of just kind of you know, you can get a ton of assets, but like it also where are you gonna put them? Nah, that's, I think I liked it the way it was, like there, back there. There, so. Alright, so let's, well, that's what I'm thinking. That was my thought on this pit to make it water, and I actually found a good, pretty decent plane, or pretty decent material for that. So let me flatten this out a little bit, because since I'm not gonna have swimming, I don't want you to get into it, you know, above your waist. So that way you don't have to like swim or stuff, or you know, you wouldn't think that you'd be swimming. So let's see, I'm gonna be needing to flatten this and probably about to that level, maybe a little higher, maybe here. And of course there's definitely going to be a need for either a different material or I'm just going to use some meshes. So let's see, I already have the plane here that I've used. And the only thing that I need to do with this is actually replace this this scum. It's kind of like it's coming out of the water materials package, and you know, so I need to remove that kind of surface plant off of it. It just, you know, does not belong. But one of the things that I've been trying to find is actually a kind of a gravel material to use in areas where I don't want to necessarily use you know, all the meshes. But I have yet to find one, so I'm gonna keep on searching. So this one is there, and I just want to sculpt this a little bit more. Just to give it a little bit of a, you know, not such a flat kind of surface area. So let's see, I'm wondering how deep this is. Let's see if I start playing. Alright, that's pretty good. I just need to turn off, I think this plane has some kind of collisions going for it. So let me turn that off. Where was the collisions? Physics, collision, no collision. So let's see how that works out. Oh yeah, that's pretty okay. And once I have something better, like on the sides, especially something like you know, like I was thinking about, you know, gravel type um, type meshes. You know, this one I can upscale it quite a bit, and it's still, look, it's only 1.5 now. So I'm willing to bet that I can go pretty high with it before it actually loses a lot of the detail in it. I mean, I'm definitely liking this rather than having another set of textures. I can just switch between these two. Because then even the transition into the water would look a little bit better as well. I mean, I haven't tried it with an actual, you know, ground texture, but let's see. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit more. Like so. So I'm definitely liking having the mesh. You know, there's definitely a lot more detail that you can get out of this than out of like a ground texture. Um, are you asking if they're like if there's like a blending shader on them? Not sure what. Oh yeah, yeah, there is, there is. Um, and you know, even without it, they still would be pretty hard to notice where they blend. You know, like you can see it here. You know, but other than that, I think this could actually work out pretty well. You know, since that pond is not very deep. Yeah, I think that actually is gonna do pretty nicely. Let me hide the water real quick, just that I see what I'm doing here. Yeah, that's pretty good. So maybe change this one to the ground mesh, just so that there's like a little bit of more of a variety in there, even though it's not going to be very visible being underwater. Okay, there we go. So we have kind of a pit going on here. I can actually raise this up a little bit. I think that might work out pretty good. So I'm just gonna need to figure out this shader here. Um, Let me see. There's a couple of options. Ooh, that's really kind of too dark. So this one is kind of alright, but I haven't played around with the shader too much, and there's so many options in it. I would definitely not use it um, everywhere. But let's see if we can remove the surface plants first, because I don't think that's useful, and hopefully I can find where that is. And actually, I'm thinking, you know, on a second thought, the surface plants could be replaced with like something like this. Like it might be some kind of oil debris or something like that. Um, though the reflection from that light is pretty horrible. Um, so maybe with a smaller noise intensity. Alright, so let's see about, because I know there's a setting for depth. At least I thought there was. Um, I thought there was. So yeah, the shader is really complex. I might just end up like kind of, you know, it's quite complex. I mean, I've seen a lot worse, but at least for now, maybe I can figure out which one's the setting for. I was thinking more as like under the surface mask, but the surface mask. Let's see. Uh, oh, I guess that's just a mask for the scum, or in this case, what I would think maybe as oil or dirt or something. So it's not that. Let's try with the opacity. Yeah, there we go. I think that might be more in line. I think that's a little bit better. So let me try and remove this fake speck. Just tone it down by quite a lot. So at this point, this could actually blend in pretty well with the terrain material. So I'm gonna try and like sculpt this out a little bit, like kind of what I did for the tracks. So let's see, maybe if I bring some of this stuff. It's kind of okay, but maybe not so much. I don't want to overdo it. Yeah, I think I'll leave it the way it is for now. So then I want to see if these would actually, how would these work? Actually, not too bad. And the nice thing about these two meshes is that the other one can be, you know, since it's got this more height to it, you know, it can be used in some of these areas where, um, you know, I need to fill in like a gap or. But you know, on the other hand, this is where you know, it's probably not very realistic that this is necessarily like a kind of a mine shaft, because this would have to be, yeah. I'm probably going to save this area for later. So I'm going to try and find some kind of material that would be, you know, gravelly like, because these ones, you know, I get it, they're kind of debris and stuff like that, but maybe around here I want to have something that's, you know, more man-made kind of thing, so I think I'll save it for that. But I'll do a quick placement on the conveyor belt assets, just to kind of see how they fit in here. So this is going to be maybe one or two of these conveyor belts, and they're going to extend to about here, where hopefully the train tracks are going to slope down a little bit. And so let's do that. Yeah, so this is the only problem that I'm having so far, at least, well, not problem, but you know, I try to tweak this mesh as much as I could, but I mean, if it's not selected, you actually can't really tell where the joint is, but you'll see that it's kind of like right there. Like there's this little thing here, whereas like I was not able to match them perfectly end to end, so you know, they would work nicely on the spline. But I think it would do. And maybe all of these should be brought down a little bit because they seem to be a little too high up. So maybe to about there. So I'm going to be flattening the terrain real quick as well. Yeah, going with a bigger width tunnel is definitely, I think it definitely works a lot better. Yeah, these meshes work pretty good to like kind of fake the transition between the rock and the tracks. And plus, the other thing that I like about them is that if I want to make, so I'm probably going to make a bigger opening at one point in this tunnel, where it's going to split into two. So then I want to split I'm going to try and split the train track, and at that point I can actually, use one of these meshes to just cover that split, because it's probably not going to look very pretty if there's nothing there to kind of give it some cover. Let's go into like unshaded mode for now. I think that actually doesn't look too bad. Yeah, that would definitely work, I think. You know, and there's like the piping, the water piping. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe one of them would just kind of dump into here. So if I was to extend this out. Oh, come on. Alright, I think that pipe fits in pretty well. Um, kind of just being there and like for dumping purposes or something. Now I just need to see how can I join this into that. So let's throw in another rock in here. That could work, but I probably need to work out the pipe in a different way. I mean, we'll definitely hide that. So maybe I'll just extend the pipe a little bit. Yeah, I like that. I think that should do it. Probably gonna figure out some kind of supports for these. Um, just something made out of the exact same material that this one's made out of, so that might be some tweaking that I'm gonna have to do. So I'm trying to think of what I can do here. Let's see if we use the flatter one. There we go. So, I mean, pretty fictitious mind, definitely not inspired out of reality. I'm not even sure if this is what they do, if they have like some kind of like a pond where they get water in there, or what it could be. But I think let's go into game mode real quick and see how it looks. There's still a little bit of stuff that I need to do over here, so let me do that real quick just to kind of close this gap here. Alright, so this is going to be mind braces. The supports. So let's take a look, because I want to make this one just cover this this shape here, so we don't get these ends that are just kind of cut off, or kind of looking weirdly. So let's see, where did that go? There we go. Let's do a quick save. Just going to scale it a little bit. Not that, but this. Oh yeah, I think that covers that pretty well. See if I can get this back here a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. I think that would fit pretty well. Quite a bunch of like flat walls, what you would kind of see in mining. So at least, hopefully, there's that going for it. This kind of pond here, which I'm kind of thinking could be what they would use. I'll get this in like that. There's that stuff there. And that. Just closing that gap there. So I mean the water is still slightly transparent. Just so you see the bottom. Train tracks blend in pretty well with the surrounding rocks. See if we can make this one fit in a little bit better. Trying to get this in here. So that blends in pretty well with that there. But I need to do something about this one here. So go to this trusted rock. There we go. That could work. I don't really like how this one's sitting here, but it's pretty out of sight. Okay. So that is quite alright. So one of the things that I wanted to try is instead of using this light in particular, using like one of those work lights that you know, just sits on the ground. It's got like the 4 legs. So I know I have one of those. So let me see where did I put it? There we go. It's kind of a floodlight. Though I'm not entirely sure there's like a lot of properties for it, so it's probably not very powerful. So let me try and edit this one real quick and see if we can get some more off of this. So what I'd like to do is actually, we got the light on, and then let's do a let's put a spotlight. Set intensity, and that would be this, and let's add a new variable. T of a float. Put that in. Alright, so let's see if this one, how this one's going to work. So let's start at maybe 1,000. Is that too much? Oh, and the other thing is also setting the radius. So let's set that radius for the spotlight. Let's do attenuation radius. And the same thing, I'm doing the same thing as for the light intensity. So let's do light radius for this one. And maybe, let's see, we'll start this off at maybe 500 or 1,000. I think that should be okay. So let's see if we can get some kind of thing going on here. So let's see how we're looking on light complexity at the moment. It's still quite alright. If I duplicate this, it's not the greatest. Let's see if we can like keep them out of reach of each other. And also what I'm going to try and use is one of those light probes that I've been using. Though, you know, on a different aspect, looking at this, I was kind of liking the higher intensity one that was on the wall. Let's see if I can add one of the light probes. You know, to kind of sit here in the center. Just add a little bit more light think that should work pretty nice. Let's make it kind of a bluish hint or tint. And for now, I'm just going to use some of these meshes to cover the ground, see how that looks. Let's give this a quick save, and well, I am liking it. As long as I can like arrange them all so that it don't like weirdly overlap or something, or very obviously overlap. I am actually liking the lighting like that. So let's see if we can close this this space here. Because I also need to figure out where the entrance from the cave is going to be, and that will probably going to be like in this corner somewhere. So I'm going to be kind of playing around a little bit, trying to figure out what might be the best approach as far as either going into a crawl or into like one of those you know, kind of wall hugging movements. Yeah, the light probe definitely helps there, I think. And let's see, can we set the emissive on this to maybe 100? Huh, it doesn't seem to. Oh, there you go, it actually works. So, you know, there's a little bit more emissive coming off of those lights. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. So let's see how it looks once you have the flashlight on. But I think this definitely turned into kind of an excavation area. And yeah, this mesh doesn't have shading as good, so let's do, just place it above here. Oops, now I'm seeing a little bit of a boo-boo here. Or this one is kind of floating there. No biggie, it's almost where it's supposed to be. There we go. I think that will do. So let's see how it looks in game. And with you carrying a flashlight. Oh, that actually was pretty good. So I thought I placed a flashlight somewhere around here. There we go. And this one I need to fix. I guess I can bump up the flashlight. Let me bump up the flashlight intensity. And there's like an edge right there that I can definitely see. But overall, so I think what I want to try is actually with one of these lights to actually have it pointing up. Come on. Kind of like that. Just to, I think it would give a little bit of an idea of the size of the cavern. And I need to do something about these fog planes. They're kind of a little bit too intense, especially from this distance. So let's see, can we make it so it's okay, like that. And this other one like that. I think that works a little bit better. Yeah, I think that could be a good good transition between the cave area that's going to come this way from there, basically, into the mine area. So, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to be signing off for now. Hopefully, I'll try and do another one later on tonight. So maybe 9, 10-ish p.m. Eastern time. So hopefully, if you guys are still up, you can join me. And let's see. I wanted to check this. Oh, that actually looks not that bad. Yeah, I'd love to see you guys on the stream. And yeah, so that's going to be it for me. I'm going to be signing out, getting a little bit of a late lunch. So thanks so much for stopping by, and hopefully we'll see you around. Bye, everyone.